The idea for this book really started with me. I started my journey into my 70s, and I was getting a lot of grief from family members and all because I was about 40 pounds overweight, and I was huffing and puffing and all that kind of thing. And they said, we'd like to have you around a little bit. When are you going to get yourself in shape? So that's when I called Tim and said, Tim, I need to get in shape. And I had tried this for years with Tim. I would call him in February. I didn't want to start in January, like everybody else, and say, let's get going. But by the middle of March, I'd be off, consulting and giving speeches and all, and the program would fall apart. But I said, Tim, I need your help, because it's really about help, because with New Year's resolutions, when you announce them, everybody goes, yeah, yeah, and then they all go to a leave alone leadership style. But I needed your help, Tim. And what did you say?
Well, I said, Ken, first of all, the fact that you're here in November instead of February is a good indicator that something's a little bit different this time. And so I asked him what those reasons were, and of course he drove home that his family, everybody really wanted him to be around for another 20 years. And of course the big point I made to Ken is what's really important in this is that you're doing this for yourself, not for everybody else. Because if you're not doing it for yourself, it won't stick.
But I knew that I needed help, so I said to you, Tim, what would it take to get your commitment as much as mine? Because I knew I needed somebody like him as my head of my support system.
And while thinking about it, it just occurred to me that the best dual commitment here would be if we wrote a book about it. And so I said, Ken, if we're successful in this, I want to co-author this book and tell this story with you.
But what we wanted to do was not write a typical how-to book about diet and all those kinds of things. We wanted to write a book that's about how do you keep your commitment to your commitment. And that's really the whole point. And what we realized is that you can't do it without a support system. And so Tim was my lead supporter, and I had other people that were working with me, and you need a support. Read this book, because if you do, you'll really get to realize how you can keep your commitment to do something in your life that you haven't been doing before. And it might not be fitness, but this book is for you.
And you got to be committed to the commitment.